So please take a comfortable seat and we'll get started. I want to focus on the hips and pelvis today because every part of the body is vital and worthwhile. But I also want to be illustrating for our yoga teacher trainees, the experience of integrating a mindfulness brain state into asana. So we can all get a sense not only of like what is the structure of the asana. Let me move out of that light beam. We also want to have a sense of how do we approach the yoga practice, the physical practice from the inside. And I'm recommending that we do that with a brain state that's cohesive, calm, clear. It has some equanimity, but we're also open to the adventure. We have enough curiosity and a feeling of willingness to discover that which we didn't know about ourselves, and also the delight in discovering what we can reaffirm in ourselves. So that kind of brain state, I'm recommending we come to our yoga practice with that. So please take a comfortable seat. You can rest your hands in your lap, and you're welcome to close your eyes. And let your attention start coming into the present moment, which means releasing the past activities, even the ones that you were just doing. Also, to be in the present means we aren't right now chasing the future, even in our minds. A beautiful way to come into the present is to recognize what I like to call the tangible data of the here and now. A little bit like having a GPS for your car. For us, the tangible data is like, here's the physical body in this location. So the sensations associated with this. Like the place where you're connected to the ground beneath you, your seat or your feet. If you notice those sensations, there'll be some variation in how much pressure or lightness of pressure. There will be variations in that. So let yourself observe the various qualities of pressure in your contact with the ground beneath you. And in this observation, try to come with an attitude of appreciation for all the myriad sensations of connecting, both those that are more obvious sensations and those that are more subtle. So on any one day, at any one time, we might have the same invitation for the same mindfulness, for the same tool in mindfulness, but our capacity to tune in fluctuates. So if you're noticing that your mind today is like sublimely receptive and able to be present, and you can bask in that. And perhaps if that is happening for you, you can bask in it and send out this goodness to others whose minds might right now be distracted. And if your mind is the distracted kind at this moment, try reining it back in, placing it again and again, and the sensations of your connection with the ground beneath you. When our minds become more lucid or clear, you could think of the word translucent, we're able to see and be seen. In a more clear mind state, we also can have a felt sense of the inner wisdom, even at the level of your body intelligence, your life vitality. To practice asana without this indwelling connection is effective in some ways, but not profoundly transformational in other ways. So the effort you're making right now for a stable mind, a clear mind, using the sensations of the ground where it meets you. This effort can be extrapolated into multiple myriad areas of life. So in the same way that we want to practice asana with awareness of this indwelling wisdom, we want to live life from this indwelling wisdom as well. Please join your hands at your heart. And this morning we'll chant the Gayatri mantra. Let's begin. Om Bhargava Suvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhargava Suvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Bhargava Suvaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. And release your hands. And please lie on your back with your yoga strap also close by. Pardon me for the jostle. Let me change my camera to the other one. I have to find it in the group of camera options. Just one moment. Okay, so please lie on your back with your yoga strap. You'll also want to have your blankets and your blocks close by. I'd like you to first lie down with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. And in this position, to let yourself for a few moments do nothing in the physical sense. And simply notice those locations where you have a sense of connection to the ground beneath you. Particularly, I'm going to recommend that you become aware of the feeling of the sacrum on the floor. Pardon me, I have to manage the waiting room, and so I'm back to you guys now. So the sacrum is the triangular shaped bone at the base of the spine. And while you're resting, if you imagine this triangle has an upper right corner, an upper left corner. At the base of the sacrum is the tailbone. So notice what happens if you gently make the upper right corner on the floor a more dense sensation. In other words, you press that corner down. What parts of your body activate to support that? And gradually shift it to be the upper left corner of the sacrum. Notice how you do that gradually, so not abruptly. And in that transition, there's a host of other activities that happen. There's a gallery of activities. And then take it down to the tailbone and also go gradually. You're going to go through the middle of the sacrum, likely on the left side, and then down into the lower triangle towards the tailbone. And that will likely cause you to arch your back. Now go from the tailbone to the upper right triangle one more time. Notice how you get there and what are the other activations in your body that support you. And then keeping your right upper triangle of the sacrum grounded, add the left upper triangle. So those 2 points are going to be equally grounded and more grounded than your tailbone. And sustaining that, please bring your right foot up into your strap. Place your hand also in the strap there. And as you press up with your right leg into your strap, just notice for yourself if you've rolled off of those 2 places of bony contact. The right upper triangle of the sacrum and the left upper triangle of the sacrum. The pressure that you have there, now I'd like you to lengthen your left leg really slowly on the floor. As you're taking it out, see if you can keep your mental focus at those 2 upper corners of the sacrum. Your left leg knows where to go. It's been there before. So keep your mind at these 2 places of grounding. And keeping your mind resting right there, begin deepening your breathing. And then rotate your right leg and your knee and toes a little bit to the right. And as you begin really slowly to open your right leg to the right, notice any temptation for the mind to leave the left upper triangle of the sacrum, or for that spot to leave the floor. And I'm going to ask you not to let the left upper triangle of your sacrum come off of the ground. So that may limit how far you can travel with your right leg, for sure. It may be that your right leg goes only a couple degrees, only a very short distance. But I'm asking for your loyalty today at the upper left triangle of the sacrum, rather than some loyalty to how far your right leg can travel. Notice the actions that are required to keep that place, upper left triangle, grounded. Also notice what actions are not required. For example, clutching the floor with your left hand would not be that helpful. Or over-firming your eyebrows is not going to be that helpful. Keeping the left upper corner of the triangle grounded, really slowly bring your right leg back up to center. And if you feel like that upper left corner gets more grounded when you return, it might be a hint that you had become a bit ungrounded in the process. Now, please put your left hand in the strap with your right foot and open your right arm out to the side. Keeping the left upper triangle grounded, lift your right hip off the floor. Go straight up with your right leg. And then rotate to your outer left hip, outer left thigh, outer left calf, the outside edge of your left foot. And though your right leg might be sensational and interesting, please place your mind in all the sensations of grounding from your left hip to your left outer heel, left outer pinky toe, notice the different densities of sensation along the outside of your left leg. Observe those sensations without telling a mental story about them. The moment you start telling the story, you miss the next sensation or the nuance of the ever fluctuating sensations. When you next inhale, begin raising your right leg back up and watch how the sensations of the left leg against the floor, soon you're going to have the absence of those sensations. The outer left foot, outer shin, outer thigh, outer hip. Now you have the absence of those sensations with the ground, and the left upper triangle and right upper triangle return. Place both hands in your strap and curl your torso up towards your right leg. And though this might excite the part of your mind that has goals and is driven, try to keep your mind rooted at the two corners of the sacrum, left and right. And then release the strap from your right foot. Lower your head back down, release your arms, and really slowly lower your right leg out to meet your left leg. And I'm requesting slowly because I want you to sense how those two upper corners of the sacrum, how do you keep them grounded? Once your right leg is down, then allow your body to relax completely. And likely you'll notice, to some extent, those two upper corners are not now touching the floor. Notice the difference from right leg to left leg. And then please bend your right knee, place your foot flat on the floor. Raise your left foot up into your strap. Put your left hand in the strap with your right. Let's bring attention to those two upper corners again. So if you sense, how are you rooting them? The mind is a part of it, right? Don't think too much. How do I clench my teeth to make those places more grounded? So keeping your mind at those upper corners of the sacrum, really slowly take your right leg out straight without your mind having to travel away from these upper sacral corners. And just consistently resting your mind on that which is really relative to the rest of life. It's pretty simple. The sensations of the right upper corner, left upper corner of the sacrum. Rotate your left knee and toes to your left. And as you begin to take your left leg out, place your mind on the right upper triangle, the upper right corner of your sacrum. Now you have the opportunity here to practice ahimsa, that is nonviolence, and satya, truthfulness. How far do you go in the threshold of what your mind and body together can do right now? Be willing to modify the larger physical actions on behalf of the practice of the mind right now. The mind is often harder to train than the body. So staying with, and staying with. You also get to practice aparigraha, not grasping. And then when you next inhale, keeping awareness of the right upper corner of the sacrum, glide back up, please. Keep your mind immersed in the sensations and free from judgment. And place your right hand up at the strap. Instead of your left, open the left arm out to the side. And as you press your left leg up, the left upper corner of the sacrum will come off the floor. Now begin crossing over. Notice the arrival of sensations at your right outer hip, right outer thigh, outer shin, outer heel, the outside of your pinky toe. And as I said on the first slide, even though the left leg now may be quite sensational, travel only so far into this pose as your mind can stay with the outside of your right leg. Release all other duties for now so your mind can feel the simplicity of just being here. And gently stay with the outer right leg, a myriad number of sensations there, varying sense of pressure, some more dense pressure, some lighter pressure. Now being attentive to the outside of your right leg. As we come up to center, start noticing the absence of sensations. The outer pinky toe, outer heel, the outside of your shin, the outside of your thigh, outer hip, and you roll back to greet the right upper triangle, left upper triangle. Please put both hands into your strap and curl your torso up to meet your left leg any amount, while keeping the sacrum in your awareness. And then slowly exhale, lower down. Release your head, release your hands, the strap, and bring your left leg down slowly enough that you're really aware of the upper right, upper left corners of your sacrum. Invite your mind to bask in the simplicity. We're just paying attention to this right now. Remember that the more clear the mind becomes, the greater access we have to our inner wisdom, inner presence. When your leg comes down, please release it entirely and relax your body entirely. And notice that likely you have a little more weight near your tailbone and less at the upper two corners of the triangle. And then bringing the two upper corners back down. Notice what's required to do that. Where do you access that from? And sliding both heels and toes up so that you can place your feet flat on the floor, knees bent. And please roll to your side. And come up with your two blocks, come up to standing. When you rise up to stand, I'd like you to have the two blocks at the front corner of your mat, the front edge of your mat. I'm going to show you as a profile because it'll be easier for you to follow me this way. So if this is the front of my mat now, the front of your mat, place your right foot forward and step your left foot back. This is called the basic lunge, and I know that it's familiar to most all of you, if not everyone. And let's come to the fingertips. So press down into your right footprint now, and let's use the right foot as our primary focus for the mindfulness of connecting with the ground. Press into each toe purposely and the roundness of your heel. Try lifting the inner arch muscles by activating your right big toe, mount of the big toe, and your right heel. Now keeping that steady, as you exhale, slowly bring your left knee down towards the base of the pose called Anjanae Asana. And of course, your left hip flexors are going to be speaking to you, but try to keep your mind resting there on your right foot. And inhale, straighten your left leg slowly. Straighten your right leg slowly, keeping your mind at your right footprint. Exhale, bend your right knee slowly. Notice the changing pressure points in your right foot as you come back down to Anjanae Asana. There's your exhale. And then inhale to reverse it again. You're welcome to close your eyes if that makes it easier, one less sense to keep track of. One more sense connected to your right foot. Exhale to come forward and lightly touch down again. Notice how the pressure of your right foot changes against the floor. And once more, straighten your left leg. Straighten your right leg. Notice the changing density of pressure in your right foot. And then you can bow over your right leg. And of course, there's going to be a myriad of sensations again in your right leg. But I'm going to ask you to be more interested in the mindfulness of your footprint on the ground. Now we're going to rock the pose a little bit side to side so you can sense how the inner upper corner of your foot and then the outer upper corner of the foot, inner heel and outer heel, how they're experiencing this rocking. Remind your mind that this is a very simple task relative to the rest of life, but it's also a skill that you take into the rest of your life. Now bring yourself to the center of your right foot, right leg, right hip, and please rise up to your fingertips on your blocks. Now what's changed with the pressure on your right foot as you've come up to here? Slowly bend your right knee. Notice how your right heel responds to the extra responsibility, and then rise into your crescent lunge. And though you're upright and there would be potentially a lot to keep track of for the mind, I'm asking you to keep it right down there at your right footprint. And trust in your body's intelligence to kind of navigate, to know without your constant tutelage or coercion that you can find the rest of the pose from within. And then gently sweep your arms wide, and as you're coming forward, again observing sensations in your right foot without narrating them to yourself. Now place both hands on your blocks, pick up your right foot. It has the absence of all sensation. As you step back, then place your right foot next to your left foot in downward dog pose. So for a brief few moments, your right foot had the absence of sensations of connecting with the ground. Now please roll forward and bring your left foot up between your blocks. Come to your fingertips. And with your left foot grounded, start with the big toe. Start with a strong foundation so it's going to be unwavering. It's going to help you to keep your mind anchored. Now as we exhale, let's bring the right knee down like Anjanae Asana. And then inhale, slowly straighten your right leg and then your left leg. And of course, you're passing through very entertaining sensations, but keep your mind concentrated at your left foot. We exhale for Anjanae Asana. We inhale for Parja Kanasana. It may help to keep your mind present if you don't over tense your eyes. You're welcome to close them. And also relax your tongue in support of your mind, having more resource for attention. Considering the quality of the mind in you, which is paying attention, and the quality of mind you'd like in daily life. This is really a cultivation process. We have the added benefit of moving the body, increasing our health, circulation, lymph, and everything. And notice the quality of mind through which you are giving attention to your left foot. And the next time that you're straightening both legs, so you're in this Parja Kanasana variation, and you can come down and bow over your left leg. And you may choose a different position for your hands or arms based on your flexibility. And then allow the pose to gently rock side to side. You're rolling gently, not outside of your threshold, for a mindful attitude. You could feel inner heel, outer heel, pinky toe mound, big toe mound. Let this rocking come back to stillness until you're kind of centered in your left foot and your left hip. Rise up to your fingertips. And as you bend your left knee, glide into awareness of what your left heel accepts as the responsibility and how your left toes accept the responsibility. And then rising up, Crescent Lunge. There may be an inclination for your mind to leave your left foot to go up to your fingers just for entertainment, for a detour. But see what can happen if you really keep a consistent presence in your left foot. We can be present to the sensations without also narrating them or judging them. Invite your mind to have no other responsibilities right now. And also to recognize that this is a big undertaking. You're cultivating skill in action. When you next exhale, start gliding the arms wide. Slowly, slowly come forward. There'll be more weight in your left foot. That's part of the mechanics. And then place both hands on the blocks and lift your left foot off of the floor, noticing the absence of those sensations as you step it back to downward facing dog pose. And then roll forward over your toes, touch your knees down. And take one block to sit on in Vajrasana. We'll sit back to kneeling. And notice the quality of your mind when you get there. Now I'm going to ask you to bring the best quality of mind that you have, what you're cultivating, to bring that into what I call a yoga adventure. It's a way to check and see, how will I take these skills from my yoga mat into life at large? Well, how am I going to do it when there's an adventure, a hurdle, a speed bump, a pothole? So this goes like this. You can watch here. You can come with me too if you want to just go straight away with me. So we're going to put the right foot forward. Maybe you also have some live obstacles on your yoga mat. Here we go. So we're going to be stepping into Ardha Chandrasana, which is called half moon pose in English. So placing your mind in your right footprint, step both blocks and both hands forward like a triangle from your right heel to your fingertips. And when you exhale, begin transferring your weight into your right heel. So you're going to press down firmly, right heel and big toe, and then float up to one-legged Uttanasana. Continue pressing firmly down into your right foot with your mind and your body. And slowly, slowly stack your pelvis up over your right leg. Lengthen the inseam of your right leg down towards your footprint. Raise your torso, your left shoulder, your left arm. And consider how you'll keep your mind steady when life gives you an adventure. And sometimes those adventures are difficulties, it's painful. And sometimes adventures are celebrations. If you're able to, you can sweep your left arm past your left ear without the mind wandering away from home. And home right now is in your right footprint. Now begin to bend your right knee in line with your third toe. Walk your right block back to the outside of your right ankle. And bring the left big toe to the floor. Mount of the big toe, left inner heel, left outer heel. And come to Parja Kanasana. Now you have 2 feet on the floor. And breathing in and breathing out. Reach for the left block without disturbing your foundation. Place it back, pivot your left heel up, and let's change the feet for the other side. Stepping over any real or imagined obstacles along the way. And so with the left foot forward now, begin again to familiarize yourself with the sensations of your left foot. To the extent possible, don't bring the story of the right leg with you. This is your left foot now, a fresh moment, a fresh opportunity. So pressing into your left heel, float your blocks forward so you have a triangle between your hands and your left heel. And then exhale, shift your weight forward, press into your left heel, the big toe, and rise up. Continue pressing firmly down through your left leg so that your pelvis rotates over your left thigh as your standing leg. Rotate your pelvis only as far as your mind is still present and has equanimity. Raise your right arm. You stay at the threshold where your mind is sort of glimmering with equanimity and presence. If you like, you can stretch your right arm past your right ear, but don't add complexity that takes you away from home for right now. And then as you exhale, bend your left knee in line with your third toe on your left foot. Walk your block back to be behind your left ankle. And bring the right big toe, the mount of the big toe, inner heel, outer heel, into Parja Kanasana. Though the pose has a lot of beautiful activities going on, keep your mind at your left foot. And then reach for the block, the upper right side of your mat, the block that you left there. And bring it back. Place both hands and step backwards to downward dog pose. And then roll forward onto your toes. Touch your knees down. Set your blocks aside. Reach for your 2 blankets and place them so they're these long folded blankets like from yesterday's restorative class, like this. And that's going to be for your hips, not for your kittens. Excuse me. So come down to what we can call supported bridge pose. Because you have your hips supported, let's call this a version of supported bridge pose. Let the sacrum rest. Welcome the breath to come back down to greet again the upper 2 corners of the sacrum, right side and left side. And keeping the upper corners of the sacrum grounded, please cross your right ankle over your left knee and press it open, your right knee open, while keeping both the upper left and upper right corners of the sacrum grounded. And also keeping your mind at home there. Invite your mind not to travel into the past, even the past of your Ardha Chandrasana. Also invite the mind not to try to accumulate, but to stay present right here, freshly. And roll your left knee and foot up off of the floor. Come into what's called figure 4 pose. You may or may not need to use your hands because the blankets might support you to bring the legs in without having to hold with your hands. And then exhale and slowly touch back down with your left foot. Notice when your foot makes contact with the floor, what happens to the upper corners of the sacrum? Can you keep those grounded? And then place your right foot back on the floor, keeping the 2 upper corners of the sacrum grounded. Cross your left ankle onto your right knee. So the contact that you can feel from the blanket is not as firm as the contact from the floor, but it's still contact. So keeping your mind at rest there, press your left knee open. Some of you will notice that when you press the left knee open, the right upper corner of the sacrum feels like getting pulled off the blanket. So prioritize your mind and the upper right corner of the sacrum. So don't think, how far can my left knee go, that there's some gold at the end of that rainbow. And now raising your right knee and right foot up, please come to the figure 4 pose. And you may or may not need your hands for this because having your hips elevated, gravity can help you to come into position. Notice the quality of your mind as these moments go on. And remind your mind this is relative to the rest of life. This is very simple, but it's a skill we're cultivating to take into the demands of daily life. And slowly return your right foot to the floor. You'll notice that the floor and the foot will greet each other. Some sensations there will return. And then the same for your left foot. You're going to be placing that foot back on the floor. And keeping the two upper corners of the sacrum touching the blanket. See if your lower belly and your breath can relax. And then shift the blanket to be just at the top of your sitting bones, the top of your hamstrings. Lay the legs out over your blanket and please come to Shavasana. And let yourself be greeted by the floor, by the ground, by gravity. Now you have multiple places to rest your attention. I'm going to recommend that you keep your awareness between the right upper and left upper corners of the sacrum. And watch those sensations gently dissolving until they're neutral. Your body comes back to homeostasis. So keeping your mind at rest between those two corners of the sacrum as you watch sensations dissolve. Also encourage the habits of the mind that no longer serve you. Let those dissolve as well. In this very moment, resolving the habit of distraction or grasping, the habit of leaving the present moment, the habit of dissatisfaction, the habit of judgment. We have many opportunities. Invite your thinking mind to stay there at the upper part of the sacrum, and for the thought habits to keep dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. and welcome the dissolving to continue. The more clear our minds, the greater access we have to that indwelling wisdom. A wisdom that is larger than us. We aren't coming up with that wisdom. We're remembering it. Just for a few moments more, allow yourself to really deeply relax. This wisdom to which yoga is pointing us, it needs many, many more of us to remember it. So don't leap off. Rest more deeply in. Now momentarily enjoy a slightly deeper breath in. And gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. As you're ready to, bend your knees in preparation for transitioning from Shavasana. And please roll to your right side. And use both hands to come up to sitting, please. And when you come upright, let yourself kind of calibrate to what is the quality of mind now? Where do you find yourself? And how might you bring this forward into your daily life, into how you think and speak and respond? And join your hands together at your heart. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. So you've had a mindfulness workout now, a work in, mindfulness work in.